Welcome to E2CE, English to Connect and Explore. Today we'll talk about some mispronounced English words. Here's an interesting truth when learning English. Even if we've been studying the language for a long time and can speak fluently, there are still certain words that pose difficulties for us, especially when it comes to pronunciation. In particular, many Vietnamese learners tend to make simple pronunciation mistakes by applying Vietnamese spelling rules to English. Have you ever found yourself in this situation? If you work in a company involved in procurement activities, you are probably familiar with the term PO, which stands for purchase order. The word purchase is commonly mispronounced as purchase, but the correct pronunciation is purchase. Another word is purpose, which is often mispronounced as purpose. The correct pronunciation is purpose. Note, the final sounds should be soft and not stretched into A or O. Furthermore, when learning English, especially when transitioning verbs to nouns, it's important to remember that the stress of the word may change, which leads to a change in pronunciation. For example, the verb is pronounced prepare, but the noun is pronounced preparation. Similarly, the verb is pronounced declare, while the noun is pronounced declaration. Note, in English, verbs and nouns often experience a change in stress when the suffix ation is added. The stress in the nouns usually shifts to the third syllable. Interestingly, in French there are similar words with nearly identical meanings and spelling to their English counterparts. The verb déclarer and the noun déclaration. The verb préparer and the noun préparation. Many Vietnamese learners face difficulties with pronunciation because they often apply Vietnamese spelling rules, which leads to mispronunciation such as purchase and purpose for the words purchase and purpose. When I was in high school, I also made these pronunciation mistakes. However, when I got to university, I was fortunate enough to receive advice from my English teacher. Always check the phonetics transcription before pronouncing a word. Following this advice, I began to improve my English pronunciation significantly. When my children were little, I also introduced phonics as a learning method. However, this approach is only truly effective for native children or Vietnamese children who have been exposed to English early. For young children, once they can speak and understand the meaning of a word, recognizing the reading form allows them to reverse engineer it into the word they already know how to say. When I was learning French, one of the words that I will never forget is the longest word in French, anticonstitutionnellement. This word consists of 25 letters and means in a manner contrary to the Constitution. I remember that just 2 weeks after I started learning, I was able to pronounce this word correctly thanks to learning the French spelling rules. Similarly, while learning German, I also came across a long word, Donaudampfschifffahrtsgesellschaftskapitän, which means captain of the Danube River Boat Shipping Company. Words like these can seem daunting, but with the correct pronunciation rules, we can easily pronounce them, even if we don't know their meaning. Why English pronunciation is more challenging than other languages. Compared to languages like French and German, I find English pronunciation to be a real challenge. While French and German have more predictable rules, English has many exceptions. However, it is precisely these challenges that make learning English both fascinating and inspiring. Learning English is not just about mastering grammar or vocabulary. It is also about learning how to pronounce words accurately in order to communicate confidently in any situation. And I firmly believe that each day, as we learn English, we are one step closer to mastering this language. If you are struggling with English pronunciation or want to improve your skills, remember that language learning is a long journey filled with challenges. But don't worry, you're not alone. I'll be here to guide you throughout this process. Please like and subscribe to the channel to learn English with me every day.